What's happening, people of Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide Land? It's the Schwans 27. I am joined in the commentary booth tonight by Gar. Gar, what is happening this evening? How are we feeling? How are we doing?
I told you before how I just ate an entire chicken breast and it was really good. So that's how I'm feeling right now, Schwans. Really, really good. Excited to bring everyone at home some nice week 6 Flashback Battle Royale action featuring our Zozo flag set.
Speaking of full, someone who is going to have their hands full tonight is our tracker Gretham. Gretham, how are we feeling tonight? What's happening? What's popping?
I'm excited to see how this is because I didn't run this, and so I had no idea what I was coming into. But now sprites are swapped, so that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I think we should tag team the tracking tonight with 4 players. Otherwise, it's going to get very confusing very quickly. So, Gretham said that he did not participate in this flag set when it was offered. Gar, did you participate in this event back in the day, the Zozo's Battleground event?
I did, and I remember really, really liking it, which is weird because I'm normally like really, really down on Normalize and Distort. But this one has just enough pepper on it to make it flavorful, you know? Make it just a really surprisingly enjoyable experience.
Yeah, so I remember Battlegrounds. There were a lot of great flag sets in here that we got to play over the course of multiple weeks. I really dug the concept of the community basically being split in half and helping out one another to sort of give their little tips and tricks on how to play this flag set. So Gar, how would you play this, or how did you play this flag set, rather, when you were tasked to do it, given what we see here on the screen? What sort of things stick out to you as far as options go?
Well, so 100% random chests is always really spicy, right? Because items in Final Fantasy VI in general are pretty good across the board. So anytime you get a 100% random chests, odds are that you're going to be pulling some pretty spicy stuff out of those chests. But you get a 5% chance at a jump scare. So sometimes you'll find a monster in a box. Now, there won't be, well, it probably won't be like a katana soul or anything like that. It'll just be like a normal mob. But what's really interesting, and something that's not on the infographic here, is that monsters have a 100% drop chance, and their drops are randomized. So it is entirely possible that you wind up fighting a random encounter and it drops Illuminas, or it drops EXP. So a lot of my strategy in this involves fighting generally a smorgasbord of different random encounters and looting a fair amount of chests, just trying to find those things that will propel me to the end of the seed.
Yeah, some of the other interesting things here is that shops are the normal, quote-unquote, shuffle plus 20% random. However, you cannot sell items for any GP. The thieves, I mean treasure hunters, I mean shopkeepers in this flag set won't accept any of your items for sellback. So it makes money very funny very quickly. So that even leads more credence to your point of go check the chests, take off the Moogle Charm to get some GP so that you can actually fund your economy a little bit here. Ability scaling is also set to random. Normally in standardish flag sets, we have the ability scaling as elemental, meaning bosses will use spells within the same element as they are in vanilla. We'll see some wild things coming out of these bosses tonight because they could cast not just spells that are within their elemental vanilla property, but any spell across the board here based on whatever scaling or however high their level is at the moment. And then, of course, the Normalize and Distort flag. You want to talk to that a little bit since you brought it up earlier?
Yeah, sure. So, in the vast majority of flag sets, including the Ultra League flag set, our most frequently raced one, Normalize and Distort is off. When you turn it on, what happens is that bosses, basically, their weak stats get bumped up a bit, their stronger stats get bumped down a bit, and the result is that they have more balanced stats across the board. What that means for you, the player, is often very terrifying. So, for example, at the end, when you're going up against Final Kefka on tier 3, those meteor counters that come out, normally they do about 1,500 damage to your party. With Normalize and Distort on, you can expect that to be about double. And if you've ever taken a 3,000 damage meteor to the face, you have no idea just how terrifying that can be. And that only applies to bosses. So your random trash encounters, those are going to be untouched. But bosses will often last a lot longer than you're used to. They'll generally deal more damage, but it does also kind of depend on the boss. So all in all, like over the course of the seed, it winds up being a wash. But over the course of any given boss battle, you almost have no idea what to expect. So it winds up being a very, very dangerous flag to set.
Yeah, because it's rather unpredictable. And yes, we're playing a randomizer where things are randomized, but if you've run enough Worlds Collide seeds, you can kind of understand about when you think the boss ought to die, or when, or how much rather, the boss should be hurting you for, right? With Normalize and Distort, that feeling of predictability just goes out the window, which makes it for a very spicy run, as you sort of put in your own words there. So let's go and check out the runners now if we don't have anything else to chat about. We've got 4 great runners for you tonight. We've got Golden Shocker in the gold trim there. We got Bubbaski with the slate and purple. We got Javinator with the teal slate and orange. And then we got Drinks Glue in the standard blue and white trim here. So as far as the tracker goes, we already know who the 2 characters are we're starting off with, and in order to get the Kefka Tower skip, as you see on Bubbaski's screen right there, we need to find 9 characters and Strago. Thankfully, we already start out with Strago, who is masquerading as Setzer. So I think what we'll probably do, Gar, is we'll use the sprite names that we see on the screen and we see in the menus versus who the characters actually are. Otherwise, we're going to get real cross-eyed real fast here. The other thing is that little green imp sprite, that'll be the indicator as to whether or not the runner has set the Zozo clock, which is required for unlocking Kefka in this flag set. The one last thing is that I did pick an audio of a player that I believe talks maybe a couple of times throughout their run. If it becomes obnoxious, chat, let me know, and I could just turn on the tunes and we could just have all of the runners muted. How's that sound, Gar?
Nah, that sounds fantastic to me. And hey, if they keep talking, you can just turn on that bop you had on a couple of minutes ago.
Oh, for sure. We'll just keep it on loop the whole entire time, right? That's the point.
Oh yeah, absolutely excellent. But yeah, let's see what these runners have in store for us.
All right, so we're going to get started here in just a second, and as I mentioned, we have Edgar, who is actually Setzer, and Setzer, who is actually Strago.
Strago, yeah.
So, like I said, this is going to get confusing very quickly, so we're just going to go based on what we see on screen. Edgar has Natural Magic and Magitech, and I believe Setzer has Morph as their abilities there.
That's correct. So having that Magitech pretty early on, even if it's stapled to Setzer, who doesn't have the best magic power, the beams are strong enough early on to where you can pretty comfortably take on some fights here without doing a whole ton of looting. You do probably still want to get some earrings if you can swing it, but otherwise, yeah, go ahead and start blowing stuff up.
Yeah, so early on, all of our runners here heading over to Narsh with Drinks Glue taking a little break here. It seems that he needs the machinery gears to be going inside of his head in order to figure out what exactly to buy. Part of the problem is we only start out with 5,000 gold, and remember, we can't sell anything back. So our runners are quickly going to run out of money after they go to this first item shop. As you see, Bubba just emptied out his entire pocket there for all of the consumables, and now there's no point in checking the other shops unless he just wants that info for later, because he he's not going to be able to
I can't fix
afford
it,
anything right now.
It is what it is.
Yeah, getting the info is key though. As you see, Bubba
my shit's
does
not
find the
working.
earrings there, so he knows that when and if he can get enough money, he can come back and purchase at least a pair of them. And one thing to note too is that you can still find money
Hate it when
in
stuff just
chests,
breaks
and in
for
fact,
no
is one of the
reason.
better ways in this flag set to acquire money. Just hope that you spike like $23,000, and then you can buy a lot of your stuff.
All right, so let's go ahead and take Glue's audio down, way down, way down. And let me know if that's any better. By the way, we just got Locke, who is cosplaying as Celeste here in Colingen with Slot, so yet another magic-based ability there. And we did see earrings in the World of Balance Narsh relic shop, so that'll be something nice to have our runners buy once they can go get their hands on some cash here. Locke does also open up the Narsh weapon shop check and the Curse Shield, so that's why Golden Shocker is heading over there right now immediately.
Yeah, good play. I gotta say, it is a little weird that Locke is cosplaying as Celeste of all people. But what do I know?
All right, so let's see what this guy's got. He's got Raiden or Fixed Dice. Ooh.
I think you gotta take the Esper.
Yeah, but early Fixed Dice is a really nice way to clear things out. And we have Setzer, right?
So the thing with the equip pool is that it is shuffled. So it is entirely possible that Setzer, who normally can equip the Fixed Dice, cannot. So we'd have to see about that. 8 Battle Curse Shield, that is on the cusp for me. I think that's about the limit of what I would consider for decursing. What about you, Schwantz?
Anything under like 10 or 11 is usually good. And in this flag set in particular, with that random ability scaling, non-elemental spells will go through that Paladin shield no problem, but everything else it can help out with. So I think 8 is probably pretty good. I'd be on the lookout for either a ribbon or a peace ring as I'm going through my relic shops just to make that somewhat bearable.
From M-Tech, so M-Tech's a nice start, but
Looks like Golden Shocker doesn't care though. He's just taking off the Mogul Charm and is going to see what some of these fights are. It doesn't look like he's trying to uncurse the shield as of yet anyway. He might do the hot swap in battle curse shield sort of thing here.
Yeah, we'll see. Doesn't look like it though. The Sleeve for Darkwind fight, yeah, it's one of the weakest encounters in the game. So,
Ooh.
And then just leather armor and mithril blades for the drops. So just not very lucrative altogether.
So hear me out here, Gar. Edgar just learned Quake from Natural Magic, and our first Esper that we have at the Colingen Inn has float on it. So we'll see if any of our runners put 2 and 2 together here, and we just start earthquaking our way through this seed.
I do really enjoy Earthquake. It's a little unfortunate that a lot of enemies and a lot of bosses are floating, even ones that you wouldn't expect to be.
Right. Like, one of the Ultrases is floating, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. Atma weapon is floating. Narapa is floating. Like, why? Why? Why would you think that?
Dullahan, the Chariot of Fire, is floating.
Yeah. So that being said, Quake is an extremely powerful spell. You can kind of compare it to Merton in that it is both allies and enemies, and it does a ton of damage, and you do need some way to mitigate that. But Merton, on the whole, is just a lot more useful. So I'm slightly down on Quake strats, mostly just because I forget I have it a lot of the time. But
yeah, that is certainly a possibility here, as we do see Javinator grabbing some Dragoon Boots out of HS. Now, normally when we have an Edgar sprite, we're happy with it, but as you can see, whoa, okay, we'll probably be way more happy with that Illumina there.
Yeah, that Illumina is pretty hot stuff. Bubbaski finding some carcasses. I believe that that came from a chest in World of Ruin, South Figaro.
Yeah, he got his hand caught in the cookie jar there. But thankfully, he's got a couple of Revivifies to dispatch of that rather quickly. Haven't really seen anything good being dropped from these enemies yet here. We'll see if this Daedalus veteran fight that Golden Shocker has to chew through here will help us out. But nothing yet on the drop front, just that Illumina that now Drinks Glue has there in the South Figaro basement.
Yeah, and it looks like Bubsky is gonna head that way himself. Probably going to pick up his Illumina. Yeah, like for this flag set, makes a ton of sense. You want to go ahead and with those 100% chests, loot what is reasonable, and there's a lot of stuff down here in the basement, so a lot of potential goodies.
Yeah, there's Javinator picking up Locke, aka Celeste. And we'll see what they decide to do. We're still early going here in the seed. Golden Shocker doing sort of, I think, the strategy that you had called out earlier is take some grind fights, see what we could find in terms of shops. Drinks Glue is in Albrook here, going to dig in some more chests. There's some enhancers for sale in that weapon shop, +7 magic power, and since we have both a Magitech and, well, he doesn't yet, but a slot user is available in the seed. Those are pretty good things for our magic builds.
Yeah, definitely very handy. Do you buy enhancers? Like, let's say in a regular seed, you see them in a shop, and you've got somebody with slots, for example. Would you spend like about the 10K or so to buy an enhancer?
It depends. Slot is great early on because it's good for AoE non-elemental attacks, but you're eventually going to want to pivot that user onto something else, whether it be other magic or if it's somebody that could use a pretty cool weapon, then that pretty cool weapon. So I don't know if it's worth the investment if you don't know that you are going to keep using that user for a magic caster long term.
I think that's fair enough. I tend to be a little bit more forgiving on that front. Like, yeah, let's say you find an enhancer, you find a Magus hat. Bam, that's 12 MP right there, which is pretty amazing. MP, magic stat. You know what I meant.
Yeah, we know. We got you. We got you, fam. We
Thanks,
have seen Magus hats in a couple of shops as well here. More earrings for Drinks Glue there. But yeah, until runners take off the Moogle Charm and Bubba peeking Fanatic's Tower. We do have Strago, but we don't have magic yet to deal with that, and that was an Imp Sprite at the bottom, so that means that that is going to be an Esper eventually when they go back for it. A couple of balloons here for Drinks Glue, and thankfully, Setzer, it looks like, can use that Illumina there, so that's what he's going to do all seed. And we have Edgar with Magitech, and we have Locke with Slot, or Celeste with Slot, rather. This is going to get confusing, folks. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
So we have pretty decent starting party already here.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Whoa! That was 3 offerings there.
Offerings. Yeah, wow. That's what we were saying. 100% random drops. So those balloons. Yeah.
Wow.
And now we just need a payoff for those offerings.
It's too bad we can't sell those extra offerings back to be able to afford some of this stuff. But yeah, now don't you wish you would pick those fixed dice, huh?
No, not at all. I'm firmly on the boo camp when it comes to fixed dice. I just cannot stand them.
Yeah, I personally also hate them too, but early on they're very difficult to beat. And that was 17,500 in a chest there for Drinks Glue, and Jav taking on the first boss of the seed here with a Welk.
Relatively safe.
So has the beams, has an Illumina. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. Now, like, this is one of those bosses that is actually gets a lot of benefit from Normalize and Distort. You see how quickly he grew there because the Welk is a lot faster now than he is in a regular seed.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate that this is going to take multiple turns because this boss is really just a time waste. It's never really any threat unless you have Umaro in your party and he hits the shell. That's a conversation for another another day. As you see, Bubba here dipping in the Casa del Fuego. There are a lot of enemies in there, so we'll see if they're pretty good, what they are dropping, and who's the boss at the end.
Yeah, I don't hate it. It is a little risky going in there at level 3, because then at that point you basically have to hope that the encounters in here are pretty decent. But Barbie and Critic should work out just fine. You've got a Setzer who's got that Illumina.
Their character.
Oh, and we have Shadow showing up with Lore. Who the heck is Shadow? Shadow is Mog in this seed. So we've got Lore for Mog, which is pretty good because Mog has a pretty good magic stat most of the time usually. And, well, I was going to say is also a pretty good Dragoon user, but again, with that shuffle equipment, everything is not as it seems here, Gar.
Yeah, like it really trips you up when you see like somebody that you know is Locke, for example. You're like, oh, well, Locke can equip an Illumina, and then nope, he sure can't. That Mog, 42 magic power there, so not bad at all.
I didn't quite see the lore list. I think I saw Blowfish and either Aqua Rake or Air, one of the A spells. Hopefully it's Arrow and not Aqua Rake, but
it is unfortunately Aqua Rake.
Okay. Well then.
I mean, most every lore has its uses. Aqua Rake does damage? I don't know.
It sounded like there was a question mark at the end of that.
Yeah,
I mean, like
it's AoE, you know. It's
yeah.
hard to really hate it, but it's not super great.
All right, so Javinator also taking the Raiden, so that's 3 for 3 with the Esper here. Bubba looks like they're getting past these mobs, and one fight already got them to level 11 there, so pretty decent. Dropping red jackets and magic brushes, so that's a pretty decent stat stick for someone that could wear it for magic casts. However, this fight is going to be interesting.
Yeah, this is a spooky fight because it will always pincer you, and so you have to be very, very careful here not to just get ran over by. I mean, that Ice 2 is a pretty good candidate, but.
Yeah, so let's see how Bubba deals with this. And meanwhile, Golden Shocker does see Welk. Will Welk disappear into the Gru hole here as well? And yes, he does. And unfortunately, Setzer has already queued up an attack. That's part of the problem with Welk, is you want to be super fast, but if you're too fast...
Diffuser.
Oh, no. Ugh. Thankfully, we do have a cure spell, as Drinks Glue does pick up their lock finally.
Yeah, Drinks Glue in the chat saying that he may have had a work call basically right at the start of the seed, so going to be a little bit behind, but he's got that dog in him. He will catch up. It is just a matter of time.
Well, if he can't catch up, then it won't cut the mustard. Anyway.
No, I knew it was coming.
Javinator, meanwhile, sees a ninja disappearing into the cave, but remember... Mog is cosplaying as a ninja here today, so that actually means that this will either be an Esper or an item. It's not the character Shadow. So we'll see what the reward here is at Moogle. And Drinks Glue is going to set the Zozo clock. So how this basically works is you need to talk to a bunch of people in Zozo. They will tell you the incorrect time. And how I like to do it is I like to write out all the valid hours, all the valid minutes, and all the valid seconds out on like a notepad or, you know, a text document on your PC. And then once you get it spoken to you, you can then cross that out as a possibility for the time. So we're seeing all the hours that it's not. That's 6, 10, 8, 12, and 2. I'm sorry, not 10. 6,
Yeah.
8, 12, 2.
And 4.
And then here are the seconds.
Yeah, so it's not 30 and it's not 50.
All right, here is Narapa for Golden Shocker. Remember, we do have Setzer. We have Setzer the sprite and Setzer the character. So we do have access to this check here. And thankfully, this is going to be a fairly easy boss for us. So hopefully we'll get another shiny stone and we can start to learn some magic. Because right now, Gar, all I'm seeing is an Illumina build and that's about it.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Illumina is very, very strong, but you're gonna want to, you know, have something else going on with at least one other party member.
In case there weren't enough offerings in Thamasa, there's one in the Burning House too. Oh, and a Curse Ring is actually pretty nice. Yeah, that'll teach you X Zone at a 5 times rate, and I usually like seeing that because I never know if I'm going to get instant death in my my seed. So that's a pretty good way to guarantee it here. Javinator is going to fight these little ram character thingies on the way to the boss here at Moogle Defense. I didn't quite see what they were dropping, but maybe he saw something that he liked, because this is, I think, the second time he's taking this fight here.
Yeah, just an Aegis Shield there for Golden Shocker,
Oh,
unfortunately.
okay. They're ice rods, so yeah, take all of these fights.
Oh, the ice rods, yeah, for Javinator. You sit here for a while. There's no problem with that. Ice rods are very, very handy.
All right, Drinks Glue, setting the Zozo clock. It's required for Kefka, so now he can put his mind at ease. I usually like to save that if I run across a Terra or a Cyan in my seed, but Glue is wanting to get it out of the way immediately so that he doesn't forget. And thank goodness Bubba gets leader at the end of this burning house here.
I think it's worth it.
Yeah, even with Normalize and Distort, there are just a couple of bosses that it doesn't really matter. Leader is one of them.
Give somebody else that Esper.
All right, Golden Shocker is going to activate their Lone Wolf. We'll see if they decide to go all the way up to the top of Narsh, or if they're going to take a dip into the Moogle Defense here. And let's see what Drinks Glue is going to do.
Yeah, so it looks like he's going to follow Javinator into Moogle Defense.
We just have to find out what the boss is at the end of this, but with all these ice rods, I don't really think it... Well, that's not true. I shouldn't say anything.
Anything is possible.
Yeah, if Tritox here, then all of these fights are going to be for naught.
Odin Esper for Bubba. That leader had a little bit more HP than you might think, and once again, blame Normalize and Distort.
Yep, he gets to be a beefy boy, and we get a lot of ninjas protecting other ninjas there for Golden Shocker's cutscene. Very, very funny how that works. I think in the Memory Lane seed, there were Umaros as Mog, which is really great.
A lot of people happy about that. Oh, hi, Goddess.
Yeah, let's do Blowfish, and yes,
You got those ice
we
rods.
got 8 ice rods. I think we'll be okay. Right, because Normalize and Distort, as you mentioned, does lower some of the higher bosses' stats. So Goddess has a very high magic defense stat, so perhaps that gets dropped a little bit. Plus, the ice rods will ignore it anyway. So I think that's the correct play here. Using the Morph early on is also another great heads-up play. Morph actually doubles all of your damage output and will have incoming magic damage. So that's why you see that Rod doing much more damage from that Morph's character than the rest of his party.
Yeah, so this Goddess should go down without a fight, especially with that morphed Setzer, who's not actually Setzer. Strago, yeah. Yeah, it's confusing. Yeah, there's the crack pal. Those ice rods are very, very timely.
Meanwhile, Bubba is into the coral cave here, so just eating all the vegetables, as one of our community members likes to say, getting all the bad checks out of the way early here. In Ebbets Rock, maybe perhaps people are going to fade this one a little bit, so if he spikes something here, in addition to that Odin that will help out his team, maybe he'll get a leg up on the competition.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is probably the best Strago check in terms of time. You can spend a fair amount of time in Ebbets Rock, especially if you wind up just going like back and forth between the entrance tile and the chest tile, or you wind up just getting a single piece of coral at a time. But Bubba here actually had a pretty good time, so and then just finds Ultros 3, looks like, so shouldn't be that bad.
Now, a couple of easy bosses here for Bubba, taking the chance on some of the more time-consuming checks, getting rewarded with some pretty easy bosses. Meanwhile, our other runners are having to deal with Goddess here.
Yeah, Golden Chakra, I don't think he fought the Opinikai. He didn't get the ice rods, so he's gonna have to do this kind of the hard way.
Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit, but thankfully getting some good slot rolls there, and Merton is on Odin, so and that's Fire 3 on Seraphim there from Ebbets Rock, so those are 2 really nice espers there for Bubba.
Yeah, and he did find a whole bunch of red jackets, right, from the drops in Burning House. So as long as people can equip those, Baby Weed might have a stew going.
Jav does show us that the Zone Seek that we found from the Goddess fight has speed +2 and life 2 on it. So speed +2 is also pretty nice to have for our characters, especially this early on. And we are on to the second phase, the Overcast phase there. And I think I saw a Realm Sprite peeking out of the Yeti Cave.
I believe you are correct.
All right, so we already know where a 5th character is. We just have to find Umaro, or whoever Umaro is replaced with now.
Yeah.
Bubba, so going across the world there and heading into Daryl's tomb. So, like the synergy of the checks here, all keeping within the same sort of area. And there's Sabin at Kefka at Narsh.
We are very character heavy here at the start, it looks like. So, like, there's Sabin there. So Jav's going to walk past him just for a second, see...
Are you kidding me? Oh, boy. So, who is... So, Mog is actually Go-Go. So, that'll
Mog
be
is
Go-Go.
Go-Go. And Sabin...
Sabin is Umaro, so we can go get that realm.
Okay, so we can go get that realm.
Who is actually Celeste. Wow. Yeah, so Go-Go, Umaro, and Celeste are all on the table now for Jav here.
Mimicking ice rods, but we're just gonna leave you on the bench, I think.
Yeah, Jav. Gonna say no to the Go-Go, and I think that makes sense.
He said no to Go-Go. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's picked him up, but not gonna add him to the party.
Yeah. Look at all those shadows. If we had like throw or maybe blitz or maybe sword tech, we would think about it. But yeah, without any of those things, I agree. I think Go-Go, unfortunately, can't equip Espers to boost their stats with Esper bonuses, and the stats are already pretty suboptimal. I believe this is original stats in this flag set. Is that correct?
I think you're right. Yeah, so I think he had like 30 vigor, 24 magic power.
Ugh.
That sounds about right for like a vanilla Go-Go. So Bubba finds Stooges, which I mean, like, this is one of those bosses where Normalize and Distort doesn't make them any less spooky. It also doesn't really make them any more spooky.
Yeah, we have Magitech, so we have an answer to, the biggest part in this is, can you kill the top Stooge before he starts healing and reviving the other ones? So hopefully we can get rid of him, and there that one goes.
Yeah. So rest of it should be fine unless Larry and Mo decide to just get really greedy with the counterattacks.
And we've got Javinator here against SR Behemoth. So another boss where things could get very interesting at higher levels, but at the moment, I think we'll probably be okay.
Yeah, so he is still vulnerable to instant death, or at least his second form is. So, is that Raiden?
That was Odin. Odin from Bubba.
I meant for Jav there. It is Raiden.
So. Yes, that's right. That was the choice at Narsh Weapon Shop.
That's right. Yeah. So should be able to cleave him in twain by the time he gets to his second form. And speaking of.
All right, so Golden Shocker is going to run into their conga line of characters here, starting with Go-Go and then Umaro, and then it'll be up to them. When do they go get Realm? Do they go now?
Yeah, and it's kind of a rough choice too, because like no one likes to do Strago checks, but it's entirely possible that you just kind of have to. So it's either you do the Strago checks, but I like now, or you do them later. But I think ultimately, you're gonna do them, and then at some point you're gonna come back and get your Realm or whoever. Celeste, yeah.
Yes. Actually, Celeste.
Glue in the Moogle defense now sees that the Opinikai are dropping ice rods and says, yes, I would like a ton of those, please.
Our tracker Gretham pointing out that there actually was an economizer somewhere within Daryl's tomb in one of the chests, so that'll be nice for your Trey Fuego user later on, or perhaps your Merton user. And it looks like Jab did put the party down to 1, so we are going to go to the Zone Eater Cave here. And I marked the wrong thing on the tracker. Sorry about that. Jav's the one who has Umaro. Where is he going? Oh, he's going into Phoenix Cave.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I thought it was a Zone Eater play with the party down to 1, but we can go hit up the dragon while we're in here, right? And there's no boss in this, and there is treasure, so not a terrible idea here.
It is a little curious to me, though, that you would rather do this over a Strago check, or go ahead and pick up his realm celeste, realmless.
That is Stray for Bubba. Yeah, Realm doesn't open up that many checks, though, right? It's only...
No,
I'm sorry, it is Celeste. You're right, never mind. Yeah, I would go get Celeste. Over going to... Because think about the checks that he has. He has Zone Eater, he's got Umara, which we already know what it is. He's got all of Strago's stuff, and then this. Right?
Yeah.
Not exactly the creme de la creme of check choices there.
It's a lot of bad choices, yeah. Golden Shocker cleaving the second half of SR Behemoth, no problem. And he learns level ? Pearl. That's the best spell that you could ever cast. So he has a huge leg up on the competition here.
Yeah, I have been wiped by a rogue level ? Pearl before. It's quite annoying, but yeah, most of the time useless.
Yeah, well, like if you remember to manipulate your GP, it's actually fine, but I can't remember ever doing that.
Modern problems require modern solutions, as Dave Chappelle would say. All right, so here's the goddess fight for Drinks Glue. And
Yeah, he's
Bubba
got those black and white rods.
Yeah, and Bubba is now going to go grab all of his characters, right? Because he's done all the Esper checks. He's got a character here at South Figaro Cave, and then 2 characters at the top of Narsh, so...
Yep. So a little bit of a leg up in terms of like having stuff to actually cast. That Merton being available, the Fire 3 being available, it's pretty huge.
We'll just chill.
Yeah, let's see. Chocobo suits from that fight, not great. But if we're doing this to learn our spells, then sure.
Like unironically thinking about it.
Meanwhile, Golden Shocker is doing what I think you had said that you would probably do in his situation, and is going to go grab that Celeste.
It actually sends me to...
Yeah, you might as well just go ahead and press that advantage while you've got it. You find a dragon up here, potential Esper at Tritalk, and then yeah, you get your Realm Celeste.
There are options from there.
Alright, so Javinator is almost at the end of the Phoenix Cave here. Has decided not to take on the dragon yet. Which, you know, and is considering they're taking their other party all the way over here, probably indicates to me that he's not going to do it at all. Yeah, looks like he's...
just walking through it. That's interesting, because he set up his party where he looked like he was going to take the dragon.
Yeah. Oh, and here's another character.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? That is Sabin at the end of Phoenix Cave. So I did not... Rage Sabin. I did not find this in my seed.
I also did not come here.
Cyan's got some decent checks, though.
I thought about it, but...
Alright, well, Sabin does open up a ton more checks here, including this one that's a hop, skip, and a jump away in World of Ruin to Zen. Drinks Glue also making good usage of Morph there on their Setzer to get past that goddess fight. And that's Bubba's Mog now. 32k for the Tzen Thief in the World of Ruin. That's a bit pricey there.
Yeah, a little steep. Golden Shocker taking care of the Golden Dragon.
I really don't like spending that much on a earrings,
And gets an econ for his troubles.
I think it's kind of the play right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of build potentials here. We just have that Illumina, and Bubba's the only one with any decent Espers in his hand, right?
Yeah, we'll see if that changes, but right now Bubba's options are comparatively better. Like, at the very least, you can teach people Merton, and then I think I would be tempted to go a little out of my way in this situation just to try and find protection for everybody. So we'll see if he decides to do that, but has picked up quite a bit of gold in his travels, coming in there with about 30,000, so not bad at all.
Guardian is at the Tritox spot here after that gold Durgan fight, so this is another one that's going to take us a little bit to chew through with what we got. We have Illumina and we have some water spells here. Hey, a good usage for Aqua Rake finally.
There we go. We did it.
Went way too fast.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Didn't have a chance
we got him.
to go.
We got him.
Eating.
All right, so Narapa for Javinator here. This will give them a third Esper, question mark? Yes.
No, this will be an Aegis Shield.
Oh, yeah. You're right. I'm sorry. And then Drink School finding out that the party was at the top of Narsh, and he's showing up fashionably late here. Yeah, so this has got to feel awful for Jav. He's already got 7 characters, and even on the checks that are supposed to be Esper item, he's getting items here.
Yeah, just really, really unlucky. But I mean, sometimes that's just the way that the seed pushes you, right?
Parked outside of Doma Castle for some reason.
Still keep getting them. Kinda getting
Does he have Cyan?
Was it? Wait, is that Sabin or Cyan that Umaro is?
Let's see. It says... Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. You're right. It is Cyan. My bad. There we go. And that is Magicite for Golden Shocker. I read the thing the wrong way.
So yeah, Meteor Cure Whirlwind on looks like an Ifrit Esper. Not great.
No.
Meteor, I think actually Meteor gets a little underutilized. I think it's a little better than people give it credit for. That being said, you gotta have somebody with a whole crap ton of magic power to really take advantage of it. You think your Realms or somebody who's been juicing on a Magpal Esper for a while.
Yeah,
I'd much rather have like a Fire 3.
Yeah, I'd rather have a Fire 2, to be honest with you. Because I could cast 3 of those in the time it takes to do 1 Meteor. Because Meteor is a very expensive spell, too. It's great because it's non-elemental AoE, and that's yet another one
I know there's a character
in terms of dead checks. A Magus Rod there.
Yeah, unfortunate. I view Meteor as a mini Illumina base, or mini Ultima.
Very mini Ultima.
Yeah, like the spell power on Meteor is a lot lower than Ultima is, but you can do some really respectable damage, provided that you pump up the numbers a little bit.
Yeah, it's a nice way to solve problems if you run into, Magimaster or Tritok or Ifrit, right? They could at least die to some of those spells versus, hey, I have to reset and come back here later.
Yeah, for sure. So Jav gonna be in the Rando Cave. Kind of average luck here, I would say, with the Coral.
They will finally get another Esper, though.
And that's nice. That's very good for them. They gotta feel a little frustrated.
I think it's better for morale than for anything else here.
For sure.
All right, Golden Shocker going up against the Grabby Pasta here. So the bottom right tentacle there is weak to fire, and the bottom left... the bottom left is weak to fire, bottom right is weak to ice, so that's why we see taking advantage of elemental weaknesses, which is a really good thing that I like to tell my mentees, as for those that don't know. Little segue here. The Moogle Cup version 3.0 has just officially started, and I think we're going to be kicking things off next week with the group stage. So I'm really looking forward to that. What about you, Gar?
Oh yeah, definitely looking forward to it. I remember back when I was a young Moogle, and winning the Moogle's first tournament, and I was like, okay, now I have to turn around and I have to teach my people how to play Worlds Collide. So now I get the opportunity to do it, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, paying it forward is really good, and we appreciate all of the mentors for taking their time out to help out the next generation of players for sure.
I need more stuff.
So yeah, we finally have gotten Realm, aka Celeste, from our Umaro check here.
Yeah,
So let's go mark that on the board, and now we have more checks available to us that don't stink for Golden Shocker.
yeah. Like honestly, doing the entirety of Magitech facility at this point for Golden Shocker, probably what I'm eyeballing right now.
Yeah, because we have what, the South Figaro prisoner spot, and then Magitech that you mentioned.
Yeah.
At least we can have Esper item in the first 2 checks there, right? And I'm assuming you're going all the way to the end. Drinks Glue doesn't actually have Sabin. He thought he had Sabin, but it's actually Umaro. You're welcome, Glue. I knew I was going to point that out at sometime during the seed. Karant coming in with a party of 3. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Hopefully you are enjoying yourself. And we were just talking about the Moogle Cup. I believe you are one of the participants in it this time around. So good luck to you.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun time for everybody, both Moogles and mentors. So, yeah, really looking forward to it. It's going to be a ton of fun.
A little bit nervous to go for.
Yeah, so Bubba now in Moogle Defense, deciding to not bother grinding on these wolves because he's got enough offense at the moment here.
It's a little spooky though, because we know that this is going to be a goddess, and this goddess is going to be significantly more scaled up than it was for everybody else.
Yep. So we'll see how they deal with that. And it looks like they're going to use Jump, which is very effective against Goddess with lower than average physical defense. Although with Normalize and Distort, that might not be the case necessarily.
Yeah. Ooh, and a nice 3, just knocking Edgar over just like that.
Yeah, magic defense is still pretty high because that magic only did a couple hundred damage. And yeah, here come the tier 3 elemental spells. Yick.
Yeah, this is very aggressive. And then the love token comes out from the Illumina hit. That's just super unfortunate.
All right, Drinks Glue and Javinator are bottom runners in Daryl's Tomb. They're going to get Stray at the end of this fight. And Golden Shocker is going to show us some new 4-1-1 here. And that's the South Figaro prisoner spot.
Yeah, so gonna take the peek here. Hi.
Who the heck is that?
Hi, Terra. I don't know who that is.
That is Shadow.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. Don't really want to go to the.
Like FC
floating continent at 40 minutes.
Really don't want to do that. I wouldn't.
Yeah, but look at yeah. The problem is you have Magitech and then what else, right?
You've got Magitech into Strago checks. I don't know.
We can peek Velt Cave, which is nice, and Golden Shot. Another
one. What? Who was that?
That was Gao, who is actually Edgar.
Gao. Oh no!
But Golden Shocker now has Kefka Tower Skip, right? So.
Yes. So what is it? 2 character or it's 9 characters. One of them has to be Strago.
Right.
And we start with Strago. So
right. That's why I put Strago on the tracker to make sure that we knew when we found him that it was going to be something actually good, as opposed to something actually bad. Normally when we find Strago.
Yeah. So Golden Shocker gonna keep chasing that character chain, and see, at this point I would stop. Right, because this is likely to be another character.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Alright, that is Sabin, who is Strago.
The real Sabin.
With the real Sabin, please stand up.
And then another jump scare encounter here: a soldier hiding in a chest in Figaro Castle. That's kind of funny if you think about it.
It's very canon, right?
Yeah.
Baba's still fighting this goddess fight here, as now comes the overcast, so we have only a limited amount of time to kill her before we turn ourselves into zombies here.
Voice is all messed up, by the way.
I don't believe Shadow got hit by that. I think he was up in the air, so he might be fine.
Golden Shocker, meanwhile, getting another monster in a box chest. There are 4 chests in Figaro Castle, and 2 of them had fights in them.
It's only supposed to be a 5% chance too. So
What are you doing in that castle, Edgar?
Well, he's got more monsters in there than grains of sand out there.
All right, so this will be Stray here for Javinator, which is another Esper, thankfully. And yeah, now that we're getting a little bit further on into the seed, as you mentioned, Gar, we are going to start to see the Normalize and Distort effects come into play here, as well as the random ability scaling. We've seen it a little bit on this Goddess fight, although, you know, these Bolt Edges are things that Goddess would normally do in Bolt 3, but some of the tier 3 elemental spells are not something they'd normally do. Bubba getting through that with a 15 HP Shadow up in the air. So they will get their Esper here from Moogle Defense.
Yeah, so very nicely done to Bubba for taking care of that. And yeah, it's only going to get harder from here. Golden Shocker, again, like 10 characters, 3 Espers. He's kind of in trouble.
The world is his oyster.
The world is his oyster, you know, and there's just way too many oysters out there. But like these are going to be some really rough encounters potentially because he's scaled up so high without doing any kind of intermediate EXP gaining adventure, you know?
Couple questions from the chat. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Nah, that's it.
A couple questions for the chat. Is it my internet or is it on our end somewhere? If there are some issues with the broadcast, like for instance, is the audio quality terrible? Is the balance bad? Just let me know. I can't obviously hear the stream back as I'm doing the broadcast. And for the next question, what is that green imp on the tracker? So that is the indicator as to whether or not the Zozo clock was set. So for this particular flag set, you need to set the Zozo clock in order to get Kefka requirements. So we have that as our little indicator. Drinks Glue is the only runner that has done it so far.
Yes, all of our other runners will have to do that before they can take care of Final Kefka. Golden Shocker finds one of the worst encounters in the game.
Yeah, run. Get out of here.
Please leave.
Yeah, so I think one of the runners definitely has some audio in it. I was hoping that it would be quiet enough that it wouldn't make a difference, but if it is making a difference, then what we'll do is we will put the tunes back on and we'll mute the runner. And there we go.
Yeah, right now audio is being piped through Drinks Glue's stream. So yeah, if he winds up talking at any point, you'll probably hear that in addition to me and Schwantz. So just be on the lookout.
Well, I changed it. We now have Zozo music on repeat for the next hour and a half. You're welcome, chat.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It will be a nicely curated playlist of bangers. So Golden Shocker has some soldier-on-soldier violence here, so this will not be a character, thankfully for them. Bubba is going to go grab... Yeah. Bubba is going to go grab their Esper here at Tritok Cliff, and then Celeste masquerading as Realm inside of the Yeti Cave, following in Drinks Glue's footsteps. That is an Esper there for Jav. First one of Cyan's Dream. So this is new information for us on the left-hand side of the screen here.
Yeah, we'll see what is jumping between the train cars here. That'll tell us what our reward is. It looks like it will be an Esper.
Yeah, this second part of Cyan's dream is guaranteed Esper or character. So if it's not a character, then you're getting a shiny stone. And for Javinator, he hopes that this is going to be 3 for 3 on the throne as well.
Given the preponderance of dead checks and characters, I would be surprised if it's not 3 for 3.
We didn't see this earlier, did we? Valiant Knife in the chest on the way up to the Yeti cave, and guess who could wear it? Celeste, aka whoever the hell that is.
Wait, is it Locke Celeste or is it?
It's actually Locke who can use the Valiant Knife, which he might not be able to in this flag set. Remember, it's shuffled equipment capabilities, so we just got lucky there. So there's another build for Drinks Glue. I wonder if he got the triple offering fight or not.
Did he go to Thamasa? I think that's where the balloons were that dropped it. Did he? I want to say he did. Somebody did.
I know that Bubba definitely did, because that's where I first noticed it. And he's also been to Burning House and Ebbett's Rock, which Javinator has been to Ebbett's Rock, so there's a possibility that he might have gotten it as well. But also has not gotten to go get their Celeste yet, so still has a chance to go grab that Valiant Knife.
Yeah. The one thing that is interesting about Normalize and Distort is that it does not affect the damage from the tentacle grab. I don't know if anything does, really. It will do between like 55 and 65 damage every single time, irrespective of its levels, if Normalize and Distort's on, if ability scaling's on, none of that.
And Javinator's found another nice new target for those ice rods he picked up about 30 minutes ago, and it is Rexol here as Vanilla Rexol, I believe, right? In Dream, number 2?
Yeah, Dream 2. That'll be Vanilla Rexol, and it'll be a dead Rexol, too. Looks like just one ice rod? Not bad at all.
Used a couple.
Used a couple. Okay, still.
Dabbing Yeti for Golden Shocker. We'll see what's at the bottom of Barren Falls here. And it's not a character, thankfully, so we'll see what it is. Oh, man.
Good for the money, but not really what you want when you're 10-4.
Yeah, have we seen... I know that Zen Thief was 32,000 in World of Ruin. Has anybody peaked it in the World of Balance yet?
I don't know. I don't think so.
All right, all of a sudden... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, that was a triple Esper for Dream. So Javinator, 7 and 7. Pretty spicy all of a sudden.
A Force Armor in the caboose of Phantom Train, and Sabin has been a bust thus far for Golden Shocker here.
Yeah, a little unfortunate there. So I wonder if he's going to go back and check the earlier Sphere characters, maybe? Or their checks, rather. The way that Worlds Collide tends to work is that the tree is taller than it is wide. So what that means is that if you find a character somewhere, you are more likely to find characters following that character. So it winds up being a chain that goes pretty far down.
Yep, characters are normally at the spot where you get your latest characters. It's deeper than it is wide. Bubba picking up that Valiant Knife here, and it's another cat hood at the Zen Thief, but thankfully it was only 1,500 GP basically, so not a lot of money to spend on it. Wish we would have had that, at the very beginning of the seed when we were trying to collect,
a lot.
collect some cash, but alas, here we are. And so if you're Golden Shocker here, Gar, do you take this Magitech Factory all the way to the end, or do you just warp out after 2?
I think I take it all the way to the end. You've seen just tons and tons of characters. Magitech Factory is not likely to be a character at the end. It is defensible, I would say, to warp out after 2, but I think there's a lot of benefit in going for 3. First of all, there's the fixed encounters on the railway, plus the 2 bosses, so potential for a ton of experience here. And when you've got an Illumina swinger, you want those levels and you want to jack them up as high as possible. And then, yeah, because the end of FC, or excuse me, of Magitech Factory is guaranteed progression, it's also a pretty strong incentive to clear it out all the way.
All right, so Drinks Glue showing us some new 411 here, and it is an Esper in Velt Cave with a choo-choo train, and we'll hopefully can easily take care of that. I know we've got Raiden and possibly Odin here, but no instant death spells on him available now. And Magitech Factory number 1 is going to be our Ultros and Chupon fight. Meanwhile, Javinator is here in Mount Zozo, popping a Thunder Shield out of the chest, which is pretty nice. We'll probably take on this dragon, and we'll then try and set the Zozo clock afterwards, I would have to imagine, since he's already here.
Yeah, might as well. Not likely that we're going to find a Terra, so yeah, basically there's no better time to do it for Jav than like right after this. Magitech 1 is a Starlit Esper. Doesn't look like anything fantastic, but it is progression, so we take that.
Yeah, we're just trying to make the numbers go up at this point.
Speaking of number go up, how about 8 for Jav?
Yeah, so Javinator is very quickly almost at go mode after getting a string of dead checks together. Now, if the next check he does happens to be an Esper, he will be in go mode. But you do have Strago in your party, and you know where another character is at Umaro's cave. Do you try and go for the 9th for skip at that point, Gar?
I would say so. It's getting the skip saves something like 7 minutes of walking plus a boss fight. So it's generally a good idea if you can get those 2 extra characters within less time than it takes to do that. And here in this case, yeah.
Another Esper for Magitech number 2, and it looks like we're doubling back to go pick up this dragon here for Javinator. And Drinks Glue is throwing the Hail Mary pass at the end of the game here, going to the floating continent at 50 minutes into the seed. It is 2 guaranteed pieces of progression, but this is definitely the longest spot and area in the entire game.
Yeah, great encounters up here, though. Scullions give a ton of experience. Now, you don't want that to happen.
No.
That's a little unfortunate, but...
Yeah, we dust ourselves off and try again here. Plus, I believe that's our Valiant Knife user, right? So, does he not have a Phoenix down?
Well, we have Life 2, which is... yeah. Unfortunate.
I mean, we get a story heal from the... Oh my goodness, did you see that for Golden Shocker?
No, I missed that. What was it?
He got a pair of experience eggs here from the fights in Magitech Factory.
Oh, all right. Well...
it's too bad we didn't come here earlier, question mark? So again, to your point, like, we're finding gnarly things within our random encounters here, and good heads-up game knowledge, knowing that 3 of the 4 parts of this encounter are undead enemies here.
Yeah, the necromancers can be very, very annoying too, because they can turn your party into zombies, and generally that's a bad thing.
They also will counter with Demi or Quarter, which is also very annoying on anyone that's not a Valiant Knife user. Jav does take out the Skull Dragon there. I did not see what the drop is, and I didn't do that in my run, so I have no idea. And it looks like he's peeking the Imp Sprite. Oh, is he going to go do it? He's going to put that in his back pocket for later, as Bubba does pick up their shadow in the South Figaro basement there.
Yep. And Jav looks like gonna take the World of Ruin Narsh path, so we'll get his 9th Esper. I'm very curious to see, to your point, Schwantz, where if he decides to go down the Yeti hole or not.
Well, we're going to try and keep this a PG-13 rated stream, Gar, and not go down the Yeti hole.
Oh, I apologize to any PG-13 listeners out there.
Meanwhile, is this this is like the third vanilla boss we've seen, right? Air Force here. We had number 24 for Golden Shocker, and then this is Air Force here at Floating Continent.
Yeah. Is this I think the first boss at FC1?
Yeah, this is the first boss, so it's almost vanilla.
Yeah, the French vanilla then. What's not vanilla is this Doom at the end of the railway for Golden Shocker.
Yuck. I mean, at least we know it's not in Kefka's Tower, question mark, right? Like...
I mean, like, between Doom and Poltergeist, the two remaining statues, this is definitely the easier one, and this Pro Proc is going to put in a ton of work here.
Nice heads-up game knowledge here from Javinator using Sour Mouth on this Gold Dragon, which will inflict the Berserk status. Maybe not.
It should be Berserk. Well, wait. It definitely inflicts poison.
It also does mute, if I'm not mistaken.
And mute.
So that'll be nice for tier 2 of Kefka, at least. But I thought that it also did... I guess it doesn't do Berserk. It's Imp plus poison plus mute and all other fun stuff. Either way, getting through that Gold Dragon fight there as Golden Shocker takes out Doom for boss number 1 of 2 here at the end of the Magitech Factory. And boss number 2 for the Floating Continent is Dullahan here for Drinks Glue. Bubba, I believe, picked up their go mode, and Realm has Throw. Or that's Celeste? Celeste has Throw.
Celeste has Throw.
Wow.
Throw's pretty darn good.
Yeah, so we got a Throw Realm, we have a Valiant Knife with, 3 offerings, an Illumina, and we've got some Tre Fuego. So now we're finally rounding into some builds in the seed. It only took us a very, very long amount of time to get there.
Yeah. Glue finding a Ragnarok Esper at FC1. Looks like it has Cure 3 on it, so not terrible. You definitely want something a little different, though, so...
It looks like we did get an Esper at the end of the Magitech Factory as well for Golden Shocker, so I believe that's 3 for 3 in Magitech. So the 3-part checks here definitely holding up their end of the bargain for some of our runners.
Yeah. Flame Eater, casting Pearl, that's a little funny. Not going to be an issue here. Golden Shocker is at the point where things are pretty easy, I would say.
Yeah, they've got a decent amount of levels here. The EXP eggs that they got on the minecart notwithstanding.
Yeah, so probably going to be looking for an offering here to pair with that VK for Celeste, but otherwise, yeah, going to be good to go.
All right, so that is their 7th piece of Magicite there. This will be Javinator's go mode after this Guardian fight, and then the question is, do you continue onward to try for Skip? We know, because we have our omniscient eye in the sky here, there are characters everywhere, so he can probably fall into a character by accident at this point.
Yeah, and he knows that this is a character, so like the temptation is very strong.
Not to mention, this is actually no,
Okay, well.
no.
That's the choice that he made.
Yeah.
So now all he has to do is set the clock, and then he's going to be good to go.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we know that South Figaro Prisoner is also a character, and then Gao Manor is also a character, right? So there's a lot of characters that could be had very quickly for free, but you're an hour into the seed, and you hit a string of dead checks, right? So is your mind, well, maybe some other runners didn't hit these dead checks. I've got to go as fast as possible now.
Yeah.
All right, Collapsing House for Golden Shocker has a ghost holding up the house, so this is not going to be a character. Drink School getting a second Esper here on Floating Continent, so that's 2 for 2 thus far. And we'll see what the third part of it is. Bubba is going to go against Dullahan here, who is helping out not his Valiant Knife user, unfortunately.
Yeah, you really wanted that Cyclonic to hit Celeste. But this Prop Rock is going to help.
That was Siren there at the Collapsing House for Golden Shocker, so if he is not using his lore user in the final party for Sourmouth, then that'll be good for tier 2.
Yeah, very nice.
Alright, so Jav just setting the Zozo clock again. The easiest way to do this is to write down all of the hours, minutes, and seconds and cross them out as soon as someone tells you, hey, it's actually this time.
But he is continuing to climb?
Yeah. I mean, if he wants to fight this boss, he can, but he's not going to get the reward back there.
Okay,
Yep.
just one of the chest, I guess.
Alright, Golden Shocker is going to be in go mode plus skip. Well, actually, technically not, because he needs to set the clock first, right? But he will have his Esper and character requirements for skip. So we will see Javinator will probably be into Kefka's Tower first, but Golden Shocker will most likely surpass him once he finishes his fight and sets his clock. Alright, so Drink School here, approaching the end of the Floating Continent. Bubba, by the way, will also have his requirements at the end of the Floating Continent, because we know that the middle part is an Esper. And we actually don't know if the end is an Esper yet, so maybe I shouldn't have jinxed it.
Yeah. Just a Tunnel Armor there. I think Tunnel Armor is my favorite boss in this whole game.
That's a choice.
No, because it's super easy, like regardless of when you fight it, and it coughs up an elixir. It's just nice. It's just pleasant.
That is another character at the end of Floating Continent. Who the heck is that now?
No way.
That is Terra.
At least Terra's checks are quick. Well, some of them are.
Yeah. The Welk is peekable and fast. Mobliz is peekable and not as fast, but it's still pretty good. And then we got this where we can go get some more loot if we want to.
Yeah, this is also fast if you don't loot, but there's a ton of chests in here. That's unfortunate. I don't think you want the jump scares at this point.
Yeah, we want our yeah, I don't know what we would want in a chest anymore now that we've got, Valiant Knife offering Illumina and some pretty good spells to cast.
I mean, another cat hood is nice.
Yeah, but is it going to save you more time than opening up all of these chests?
Yeah,
right? That's what you have to. Right now, it's a sunken cost fallacy. No, it's not really what you know what I'm.
Well, it kind of is, because it's like you're already here. You might as well do it. I mean,
you don't
a
need
muscle belt offering.
Don't need a fifth offering.
No, the muscle belt's nice. Muscle belt gives a ton of potential damage to Celeste, so I don't hate it.
Well, Rasopas is powering up Bubba here, and Bubba has an Atma weapon from somewhere to put with one of those plethora of offerings that we found, so he's got yet another build.
Yeah, I think there was an offering in the Coliseum. I'm trying to remember my seed. Or not offering, Atma weapon, that's the one. But I also vaguely remember there being one dropped somewhere, and I don't remember where. Because I don't remember Bubba going to the Coliseum.
Wasn't it a choice?
Well, the choice, like for Locke, was
it was fixed dice.
Or right in. Yeah.
What about at Lone Wolf?
Lone Wolf was an economizer?
Gretham, our tracker, actual MVP of the stream here, he said that Bubba actually looted it from somewhere early on, so maybe it was in a spot that our other runners didn't go. Albrook, perhaps?
Could be.
Alright, so Golden Shocker is going to be setting their Zozo clock here, and they will be into skip, so they'll actually jump ahead of Javinator once they get into the tower and set their clock correctly.
Yeah, and like
depending
if this
upon
is a
how
pretty
fast
rough
this
boss,
goes.
if this is a rough boss, like this could potentially be a really serious setback for Jav. Otherwise, both him and Golden Shocker, very, very close. Not ideal.
Yeah, especially with Setzer having that Illumina. Okay, maybe not. I thought Setzer was the Illumina, but it looks like we're gambling today. Dre Fuego is also very good against this boss because naturally weak to fire, ice, and lightning.
Choo choo.
Oh boy.
It's the Grand Train.
Oh boy. Yeah, so this is where the nastiness is going to start.
Yeah, normally Atma's magic stat, like it's not that high, but that Normalize and Distort bumps it up a little bit.
Alright, so at the end of the Sealed Gate Cave, that was an Esper there for Drinks Glue, so if Bubba heads there, he'll have his go mode. And we'll see where they decide to go.
Crack Pow. So, not too bad for Jav, but yeah, Golden Shocker's going to come in here, be about a couple minutes or so ahead of Jav, and doesn't have to fight. Now, he does get Grand Train for his Mog / Shadow, whoever it is.
Let's see, where is Bubba going? Figaro Castle. Drinks Glue tried to potentially buy his last Esper, and unfortunately we know that that was just a cat hood there, so he's going to be rather disappointed.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see what the first boss is up here for Golden Shocker in the gauntlet. Just ahead of Javinator here.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
That's so bad. Oh dear.
Well, thankfully he saved right outside this, and now he knows that this is here. So, do you bother going to, reset and heal yourself and... Okay then. Well, Morph does give you resistance to magic, but not that much resistance.
Yeah, Ultima Ultima pierces it regardless, so
Yick.
That's rude.
Alright, well, we at least know that there is one definite problem in Kefka's Tower here. Javinator, yeah. I don't think will be going on that side first, right? That was the Doom statue.
Yeah. So, I like to go the middle path for these, and just make sure that my middle path party can take on basically whatever. Specifically because sometimes the wings are gross. I've had it too many times where I've wiped to like a poltergeist, and had to just reset and reform my party.
Alright, well here's Dataluma. With these dice rolls, is probably not going to be an issue.
Yeah.
Well, I say that, and the last one was 78.
He's got a little bit more HP than usual.
And now he's got 300 more.
Yeah. And safe.
Alright, so Golden Shocker here, taking the Valiant Knife offering build to the Doomgaze path. Doomgaze, very high physical defense, so that Valiant Knife will cut through that. And we just have to hope that we don't get a Ultima out of nowhere again.
So now we're entering into the part of that Illuma script that we don't normally see, where he whistles for a couple of Iron Fists to come.
Yeah, call up the homies for backup here.
Yeah, so they can watch your boss die.
Alright, so that's boss number 1 down for Jav, and even though Golden Shocker entered in Kefka Tower at the skip ahead of him, he is the first runner with 1 Kefka Tower Gauntlet boss down. But I'm pretty sure that Doomgaze is going to be a problem for him.
It's gonna trip up
no.
our runners here. Yeah, that's unfortunate too.
Oh boy. You hate to see it happen.
Does Golden Shocker have a relic ring? This might be one of those rare times where like it's useful, you know?
That is a very off the wall strategy.
I mean, at this point.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
Well, at least we don't have to run into this in the tower. Magi Master for Bubbaski at Zozo Tower. So, having access to Terra, he was able to set the Zozo clock and do this check at the same time. But oh my goodness.
Is that the Octo VK?
Yeah, def. Okay, never mind. Never mind.
No problem.
Not a problem. Ain't a problem that
You love
Celeste
to see
can't
it.
fix.
Yeah. Gosh, and then Javinator getting his boss down, so no problem there either. And there's the Esper, so all Bubba has to do is set the clock and he's good to go.
Yeah, and Octo Valiant Knife, oh boy. I don't know where the second one was.
I'm not sure either.
But yeah, if we can... So, the thing about Kefka's Tower is, if you could pass builds around between multiple like party members, then that'll be ideal here, especially with Normalize and Distort. And we have our other 3 runners trying to take down Doomgaze here, so this will be the bottleneck of the seed for sure. Oh no! Fallen one!
I mean, it's not Ultima, so... I mean... There's a Pearl proc, so Drinks Glue...
Why?
might... Ooh, not quite.
No, this Doomgaze has got to have a ton of HP.
He already has a ton of HP. Oh, this Quake doesn't help, though.
No.
Yeah, he's gonna reset.
Oh my goodness.
Unfortunate. And then that... what is that, a hyperdrive? Oh my god.
Golden Shocker, though, does finally get past, so he's our first runner.
Through the wall.
Through that, yeah. That's going to be the part that's going to stop our runners for sure. All right. Well, what is Bubba doing here?
So Jav's trying to set up some defense here, trying to play around that random ability scaling. There's South Cross. The goodness. And then Chad on the other side. My god.
All right, so Chatternook is so it's a Dad and Chad here in in Kefka's Tower. Luckily, blocking that flying bird there. Oh, we got Grand Train, so that's what the plan is for Jav to get through this Doomgaze. So one good thing about the random ability scaling is you'll probably see Grand Train a lot more often if you have a lore user.
Yeah. Oh no. Jav has to take the reset. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's just ugh.
Speaking of Grand Trains, though, there's Chatternook casting it.
Brutal.
What a tower. It's so rude.
Yeah, I mean, the middle lane wasn't so bad. We had Kefka just coming down from his monument to non-existence to hang out with us for a little bit. But yeah, the side statue lanes are pretty rough. Javinator entering Glue going after Chad here. Golden Shocker passed that second boss, so he's got the harder two bosses down. I don't think the other two will give him much trouble. Meanwhile, Bubba gets the bad news here. Oh, is Golden Shocker warping out? What is he doing?
That's...
Yeah, so in Worlds Collide, once you use your Kefka Tower skip, you cannot skip back to the middle. You need to complete another objective to unlock the Kefka Tower skip. So it looks like Golden Shocker is going to take the time loss because he is not confident about what's in the middle. Unfortunately, he didn't actually peek, I don't think, what the bosses were. Maybe had he peeked them, he might not have decided to do this.
Yeah, that's something that I like to do. Is like if I'm gonna reset, I might as well just peek and see what I'm coming up against. But wait, did he? Because he set up his party, loaded up group 3. So did he already do the wings? Like, did he take care of Chad?
Yeah, Chatternook and Doomgaze are dead. The only thing that's left are the two bosses.
So then it's just the middle ones, and yeah, like this is going to be easy peasy, lemon squeezy for him.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean the two middle bosses are not very difficult. We know that, but he does not.
Right.
Javinator now has 3 of the 4 bosses done, so he's just got to get through Doomgaze. So, question for you, Gar. We've already seen one runner do this with Golden Shocker. When do you take the walking time loss to go ahead and take out a boss in Kefka's Tower that's giving you a problem?
I would say it depends. Like if I die to a boss, but I know...
No way. He's got the relic ring. No way.
Yeah,
if this works.
Yeah.
No way. I've seen it all.
if I run up against a boss and I'm having a lot of trouble with it, to the point where like there's just no feasible way for me to get through it with my current gear.
If it goes beyond just simple, oh, I got unlucky with the boss battle script. If it's there's just no way.
And I think the trick is to recognize when you just get a little unlucky versus I'm way out of my depth. I need to reform, and then making that decision quickly. Because like even if it's objectively wrong, just make it quick. Minimize your time loss.
Only bash your head up against the wall 3 or 4 times. Don't do it 8 times, and just to come to the same conclusion that you had already thought that you were going to come to earlier, right?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So Golden Shocker also has to take out this Atma boss as well. Meanwhile, Bubba going up against Kefka with this buzzsaw. Absolute monster that is Celeste 8 VK.
And it wasn't even enough.
All right,
it wasn't even enough.
Drinks Glue, meanwhile, getting past their Dataluma. Relic Ring strats are paying off so far here, Gar.
I'm telling you. Sometimes you gotta reach deep into the pocket, but this Quasar, I don't know.
Oh, space rocks.
So another choo-choo train from Shadow. Hopefully this is enough to seal the deal. Otherwise he could be in some trouble.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
The Relic Ring. Unbelievable. We've seen it all, folks.
Hey.
That is some incredible game knowledge there from Javinator to say, you know what? If I have a Relic Ring on and Doomgaze dooms me, he's just going to bring me back to full HP. Right?
Yeah.
So, why not?
Like, no harm in trying it.
Yeah, because the other time, he got super deep into the fight, only to have the Doom come out and just go, nope, this fight is over.
Yeah. And there's issues with the relic ring too, right? Because of random ability scaling, it's possible that he comes out with like a fire 3, for example, and because you're undead, you're now vulnerable to it, and then you just get cooked. So, but it's like, okay, do you take the chance on him rolling fire 3, or like, because you know we cast Doom, do you plan for that instead? So
All right,
very nicely
so
done there.
Javinator on the switches up to Final Kefka, the first of our 4 runners here on stream. I think Bubba and Drinks Glue just have these one more bosses to get through, and Golden Shocker is now finally back to where he started at the skip. Has 2 more Kefka Tower Gauntlet bosses to get through, but they are going to be significantly easier than either one of these ones on the right-hand side of the screen here.
Yeah, and because Golden Shocker has a full party, he's going to be able to take these out very, very quickly. So not too far behind Javinator, 2 to 3 minutes maybe.
All right, and Doomgaze is down there for Drinks Glue, using Setzer with Morph again. A lot of usage out of Morph in this stream here, and this is the most difficult part of the entire seed here, Gar. Remembering who your actual final party is.
I have so many issues just remembering who to bring, even without the Zozo scrambling the sprites. But yeah, so tier 1.
Yeah, this flag set, I basically chanted my final party's name as if I was giving glory to them before before going up against Kefka.
Well, you noted earlier, writing stuff down, and that's what I do every single time. It's like, okay, my party is XYZQ. And even then, still, I sometimes mess it up. It's funny.
Yep. All right, so tier 1 here. It looks like Break, unfortunately, did not break that long arm. You can use either Break or Instant Death for the long arm. And then we've been casting Fire on the face, which is the weakness of the top part. So we want to take that one out first, because it will death counter with Quake. I know we have Float, but normally we only cast Float if we have, some sort of non-targetable offense and we're worried about that Quake death counter. And it looks like Drinks Glue again is taking a business call here during his run. Let's see if we could fast forward him a little bit here so that he's actually back in the thick of things.
Yeah. Bubba, meanwhile, is also on his switches, so going to be going up against the tiers here momentarily. Javinator is cheating right now. He has teleported all the way to the end there, and then he teleported back to make it fair for the other runners. So Golden Shocker is done.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm my bad. I'm doing the wrong thing. Oh goodness. I'm so sorry. There we go. You know why I have that labeled as runner 4 and it's not, it's runner 3.
No.
All right, I think we're at the right spot. Ooh,
yeah.
Good usage of life 3 there from Jav.
Yeah, I do really like the life 3 here. Also setting up the big guard, very, very useful. Unfortunately, I think Shadow still got bopped into oblivion because even with Normalize and Distort on, the short arm is still very punchy. Well, but that is good enough for tier 1.
Yeah, we do have all 4 of our party members, which is important because in the final fight, if someone is dead between the transitions of 2 tiers, you get some scrub off of the bench to replace them. And unfortunately, that is not going to help you out in Worlds Collide, because your scrub off the bench you have not been using the entire match. Out comes the Sourmouth here for the mute on Magic, and we'll try and instant death tools as soon as Shadow gets some HP behind them. Meanwhile, we have Bubba here on tier 1, it looks like, and they're holding off on using Celeste's turns, and I think that's a smart idea. For now, we don't want to accidentally kill these boss parts in the wrong order.
Yeah, I would say that... Wait, does Bubba have access to Life 3? I want to say that was... like, somebody learned that. Edgar, maybe, with his natural magic? So, maybe he doesn't. So yeah, you want to be careful here because, like, even through safe, Celeste can get hit, and that'll be the end of her. And since she's probably going to be one of your main damage dealers, you want to keep her up.
Yeah, so a lot of usage of big guard by our runners. Normally I would scoff at that because, like, I'm safe as death. The best defense is a good offense. But with Normalize and Distort, again, going back to the unpredictability of damage output of these enemies, we have no idea how beefy they're going to be. So anything to help mitigate that, including Safe and Shell here, is probably a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so Bubba and Jav on tier 2 here. We don't have any ice magic for Tiger. That's the weakness of that. And then hit, we can just hit in the face at some point for a while. But anybody who doesn't have access to Siren or Sourmouth is going to be taking a little bit longer here on this tier, Gar.
Yeah, having access to Sourmouth, especially right at the start, is very useful. So as long as you know that it can set the mute status, yeah, it's a very handy tool to have in your back pocket. So Javinator made good use of that. Golden Shocker has Siren, so is going to be able to set mute that way.
Yeah, unfortunately, Bubba's instant death Esper summon missed there, so that's a bit of an unfortunate one for them. They're going to have to take out tools the old-fashioned way here. But they have their throw with Realm, just yeeting a bunch of stuff at this boss, so hopefully it'll go away rather quickly. When you don't have access to mute, Gar, when or how much of a priority does it become to kill magic over some of the other parts of this boss?
I basically move him to first in the targeting order. It does kind of depend, though, because the Tiger Head casts, like, North Cross, South Cross, all kinds of pretty rude AoE attacks. And then once you get him below a certain HP level, he'll start doing Doom Tusk in addition to all of that. So he can be dangerous, but the magic just casts all kinds of really annoying stuff. Like Life 3 is like that alone. It makes it a lot better to just kill him right off the rip, in my opinion.
Oh, nice Zephyr Cape usage there from Golden Shocker. Getting out of the way of Doom Tusk on their Valiant Knife user. Unfortunately, half of their party is frozen to that N-Cross annoyance that you mentioned here. Bubba's Buzzsaw, that is Celeste, is down, unfortunately, after a bit of 10 hits. And they've got a lot of actions queued up. I'm hoping that they can pick up their Celeste before they kill anything else on this tier.
Yeah, so there's a Cure 3.
Meanwhile, Javinator just rolling the dice here, and that looks like the death counter for Magic, so he's going to be moving on to tier number 3. Drinks Glue has got just a couple of parts left of this boss. It looks like he's got Tiger down, but not the other 3. And tier 3 is usually the scary one with Normalize and Distort here.
Oh, yeah. So Girl normally has 9,999 HP. With Normalize and Distort, it's closer to like 20,000. So that, again, that alone is terrifying. And then, like I said at the very start, Rest and his Meteos and his Mertens, this Merten's going to do about 3,000 damage to unprotected characters.
Oof.
Yes, Shadow just got microwaved.
Yeah, that's because they died after the big guard, right?
Well, no, Merton even pierced the shell, I think, so...
Oh, wow. Because I know Celeste only got half the damage, so maybe they have some sort of force something or other that they're wearing.
Cat Hood, I think.
Oh, that makes sense. Bubba, meanwhile, on to tier 3, and thankfully Celeste is alive, but we got to see what this opening Merton does, if it is Merton. The other thing it could be is W-Wind, and it's important to note that the random ability scaling only applies to scaled bosses. Since Final Kefka is not scaled, the battle scripts are going to be the same. However, the damage formulas will not be, as we got a double kill out from sleep there.
Oh, and another Merton for Javinator. That is...
Yeah, we keep that life 3 pumping. Golden Shocker here. Oh no! And oh my quad W wind. I don't know what's worse, the all party W wind or the Merton.
It's the Merton, in my opinion, anyway. Like W wind's actually a benefit for Golden Shocker here, like because you look at the
Valiant Knife user.
the Valiant Knife, yeah.
All right, Drinks Glue, meanwhile, getting onto his tier 3. So I think this is under 10,000 HP for Sleep here. This is the train. Oh, no. That's the Grand Train, not just the regular train. Sorry, the animations are just so similar. And here comes Bubba with that 8 VK. The Calmness comes out, and it will whiff up against Setzer. So overtaking our other runners here with that 8 Valiant Knife build. And unfortunately, Golden Shocker is getting microwaved yet again. And oh my goodness.
Oh. So Bubba probably not going to have too much difficulty with Final Kefka here. His Celeste is at very low HP. And so going to be doing a whole crap ton of damage with those Valiant Knives.
The thing is, though, it is a lot of swings. And if we accidentally get under 10,000 HP, we may be in ultimate counter range, which could be spooky. Setzer and Shadow probably survive. Realm might as well, but yeah, we're gonna have to see how Bubba deals with this as Golden Shocker makes it through onto tier number 4. Unfortunately, Javinator Setzer goes down, but Life 3 gets him back up. But no! Oh no! Oh,
double target. That's so unlucky.
Oh man. Sleep wanted a Mick pick too, and wanted 2 of Setzer's. You hate to see it happen, folks.
Yeah,
that is brutal.
That's super unfortunate. So this attack here from Bubba should take care of the man, the myth, the god.
Yeah, that was a stupid amount of damage. And there it is, Bubba Ski taking down Final Kefka. And his time is 1:33:11. So he is our first place winner on the stream here. Get your GGs in chat for Bubba. Meanwhile, Golden Shocker here should be done with Kefka relatively shortly as well. I thought that the Valiant Knives would have done it, but those next 2 pieces of damage are going to go ahead and kill Kefka there. 1:33:37 for Golden Shocker.
Very nicely done.
Drinks Glue should be coming in shortly behind, but again, I screwed up the our bottom 2 runners in terms of who was finishing where. So I'm not gonna alter Glue's VOD at this time. We're just gonna let it play out here. But his time was also very close to these other 2 times. Let's see what he actually had. 1:33:44. So it's going to be pretty close here.
Yeah, and keep in mind too that Glue wound up taking like 2 phone calls during this race. So
yes. So he definitely paused his timer at some point, as you are allowed to do if you have to take a break. You obviously can't abuse it, but that's something that can happen here.
Yeah, for sure.
Javinator, meanwhile, with a 3-person onto Kefka as we're charging up for Goner. Just throwing fire 3s at a cost of 1 MP at this guy. And I think Shadow is swinging the Illumina here. So that'll probably do it. Oh, not enough damage.
Not quite.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate. Goner is a significantly long spell animation here that you just have to sit through. Now, the question is he going to heal, or is he just going to go for it? Because remember, Kefka can counter with Ultima when he's under 10,000 HP. And it looks like Jav is going to heal up here. Out comes Hyperdrive for Drinks Glue. That means Kefka's half dead already.
I was about to say, I don't think Glue cares about that. So it looks like he's just going to wait for Goner charge and then give him everything he's got. And that should put him away.
Oh, Havoc Wing taking down Edgar. Yeah, so Jav's got to come up with a plan here. Is he going to go for it, or are we going to wait out for another Goner charge? Because Kefka will not counter during the Goner phase, and there is Glue's Crack Pow. Thank you very much. 1:33:44 is his official time. And I think this should do it for Jav there with those two attacks. And there it is.
Yes, indeed.
Boom shakalaka, as they used to say back in the NBA Jam days. 136 and change. 43. Yeah, again, my apologies on screwing up the VOD. Sometimes it's hard to tell when runners have their breaks and we want to fast forward and things like that. But a very, very close race with all of our runners basically at all of the tiers of Kefka at essentially the same time here.
Yeah, very nicely done to all of our runners. Very, very close, too. Zozo's not the easiest flag set to run, so the fact that all four of our runners here got really close times is super impressive.
So, now that Zozo is over, let's talk about next week's flag set, which is the Kefka Grand Prix Finals. So, thankfully, we do not have to do Kefka Grand Prix Week 6, although if you are a glutton for punishment, you could go do the Seed of the Week, and that is what the Seed of the Week is this particular time around. But the Kefka Grand Prix Finals was one of the very first events that Worlds Collide hosted. I was not a participant during this event. This is even before my time in the community. But week 6 is definitely an infamous flag set. So if you're a glutton for punishment and pain, try out the Seed of the Week this week. I think I'm going to try it. I kind of remember what happened during it, but I've never actually played it myself. So it should be interesting. Anyway, let's talk about the flags that we are going to run for the Flashback Battle Royale event. And we start off with 3 characters. One of them is going to be Locke. We start out with 500,000 GP. Yes, that is a lot of zeros. However, we will not get any GP from enemies in this seed. So it's kind of like the opposite of what we just did with Zozo, where you got 0 for sellback. This one you have to sell in order to get more money. There are...
I believe that you can't sell here either.
Oh, is that...
I might be wrong about that.
Okay. Well, if that is the case, then that is something I definitely should look at before running the seed myself. Yeah, so the other interest... So shops and chests are 100% random, so we're going to get access to those really nice goodies again that you kind of saw in the chests of this particular seed. However... The real trouble is going to be starting this seed. The enemies, bosses, and dragons all get 10 levels apiece at the start of the game. And the scaling is 3 times your character's Esper's dragons with a maximum of 99. So that essentially means right out of the gate, your enemies are level 19 to start off with. And that's if you don't do any free checks and don't get any pieces of progression to start. Additionally, your experience multiplier is up to 10. However, it is split amongst your party members. Now, in standard flags, that number is normally 3. So an unsplit value of 3 is kind of less than a party of 3 splitting 10 3-ways. But if you roll with a party of 4, your experience multiplier is essentially a 2.5 unsplit, right? So... Right. You'll get less if you have a bigger party, more if you have a smaller party. So we might see some other party of 3 strategies like we've seen in some of the other flag sets with split party experience. And then lastly, I think the other interesting thing about this flag set is you have to defeat 5 unscaled dragons with 10 levels on top of that in order to get into Kefka's Tower. So I haven't played a practice one of this yet, but I would think that your idea would be, how early can you go kill your first dragon so that you can snowball your levels into, something where it makes that 3 times characters Esper's dragons not oppressive, if you will.
Yeah, definitely a lot of things to take advantage of here. that $500,000 starting GP combined with 100% shops means that you're very heavily incentivized to go and take a look at shops, and probably even like some of the more obscure ones. I'm a big Miranda lover personally, so normally it's kind of a meme, but here there's actually like a really legitimate reason to check shops like Miranda or World of Balance Mobilis, for example. Places that are kind of out of the way where people don't normally go, just to try and get a leg up on your opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you cannot sell anything for any money, then obviously that changes things a lot, right? There are going to be certain items that you're going to be insta-buying, and there are others that you might have to write down and come back to later if the shops don't give you better stuff. So we might see a little bit of backtracking depending upon that particular thing there. Also, we get Original Ultima, which is a possibility. However, even though we start with Lock, the Curse Shield is between 1 and 32 battles. So again, you have to determine where that cutoff line for you is about the Curse Shield being worth it not only to uncurse, but then to learn Ultima at a ×1 rate. So I think we talked about in this seed it was an 8, and you didn't even learn Ultima, right? So maybe that number's a little higher if you know you could learn Ultima, but then again, you have to actually learn it at a ×1 rate. So
yeah,
all interesting things to consider and take advantage of. So yeah, that's next week's flag set. So I'm going to be interested to see how our runners tackle that. Any other thoughts or comments, Gar, Gretham, before we get back out of here?
Well, first, let me say thank you to the Schwantz27 for being my co-commentator this evening. It is always a pleasure, my friend. And thanks to Gretham and Schwantz for pressing the buttons behind the scenes, putting on the restream. And lastly, thanks to all of you wonderful viewers at home taking a look at some excellent Worlds Collide gameplay. And if you have not ran your week 7?
Week 7 is this week, yep.
So yeah, if you haven't ran your week 7 seed, best of luck to you. And I hope it goes smoothly for you. Otherwise, I'm done.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gar, for doing comms with me. Thank you as well, Gretham, for helping me with the tracker. I know when I first said, hey, pull up the seed because you're going to need the the sprite swaps, he gave me the in the voice chat. But I appreciate you following along with all this madness. So thank you so much, Gretham. All right, well, that is going to do it for us. I'll throw a raid over to one of our community members. They're streaming a Moogle Cup practice seed, so that usually means that they're a newer runner in the community. So if you feel like divulging some wonderful knowledge and helping out some of our newer community members, not only do we have the Moogle Cup coming up, but we could also, say hi and drop some love their way. So thank you so much, chat, for checking us out, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace out, everybody.
Have a good evening.